Okay, so 60 Minutes. Something big happened yesterday. So, one of the veteran journalists on CBS 60 Minutes rebuked the company that owns the network on air Sunday night. Now, this is a person who's been involved in the media landscape for quite some time. Uh, this has to deal with a person named Scott Pelley, who addressed the resignation of an executive producer, Bill Owens. So, as we all know, corporate media is all owned by large institutions. All of our media is controlled by the titans of the industry and the media landscape. And in turn, the problem, the issue is that we don't really have a system of information, journalism that holds those in power accountable. So let's go ahead and pull up this article up here. All right. And we also got a video, but I think it's important we play read this article from Politico. All right. So speaking at the end of the program, CBS veteran Scott Pelley addressed the resignation of executive producer Bill Owens by saying Paramount began to supervise our content in new ways. None of our stories have been blocked, but Bill felt he lost the independence that honest journalism requires. Well, that's the problem. When you have establishment media controlling everything, when you have establishment media ruling over everything, you don't have control. What you're given is permission slips of what you can and cannot talk about. So he goes on to say that Pelley, one of the show's current hosts, added, "No one here is happy about it. There's been widespread speculation that Paramount Global, led by Shari Redstone, has tried to rein in the network's most acclaimed news program as it seeks regulatory approval for a merger with the company Skydance." Pelley did nothing to dispel the idea. Stories were pursued for 57 years are often controversial. Lately, the Israeli-Gaza war and the Trump administration, Pelley said, Bill made sure they were accurate and fair. Though it was tough that way, but our parent company, Paramount, is trying to complete a merger. The Trump administration must approve it. So, I have to bring up one of my favorite shows, Succession. If you want to know how the media is controlled in this country, I encourage all of you to check out the show Succession, because while it is a bit of a satire and comedy, it's a dark comedy and drama as well. It does shine a light on overall how our media landscape is played and the people who are there to be the players in that game. If you think it's an honest environment, you're gravely mistaken. You're sadly mistaken. In a memo subsequently obtained by the New York Times, Owens told staffers last week that he was stepping down because he believed he can no longer run the program as he saw fit. Having defended the show and what we stand for from every angle over time with everything I could, I'm stepping aside on the show so the show can move forward, he wrote. 60 Minutes debuted in 1968 and from 1991 to 1994 was the top-rated program on network television, outdrawing every single entertainment program in prime time. Its president and former hosts include Mike Wallace, Morley Stafford, Dan Rather, Diane Sawyer, and Lizzie Saul. Trump sued 60 Minutes after the 2024 elections over an interview that it did with Democrat presidential nominee Kamala Harris, claiming the segment was misleadingly edited. He has also repeatedly attacked the program on social media over the years. By the way, what he's talking about is the Kamala Harris interview, and it is abundantly clear that that interview was edited. And it's not the only example. It isn't. It's not open for a debate or a polite conversation. Kamala Harris, when she was running in 2024, they made sure that everything was staged perfectly for her in a controlled environment. Why do you think she didn't go on the Joe Rogan show? All right, that would have been 3 hours of Kamala speaking with Joe Rogan, or 3 or 2 hours, give or take. And they wanted it controlled, they wanted it recorded, and Joe told them no. Okay? I mean, you can have your opinions about Joe Rogan as much as you want, but the fact is, there's been a lot of controversial and uplifting good people, smart people, crazy people that have been on the Joe Rogan experience, including politicians. You had Bernie Sanders, Tulsi Gabbard, Andrew Yang. And yes, even during 2024, you had Donald Trump and JD Vance. I mean, it's the most popular podcast out there. And it's going to be unfiltered. And the point is, Kamala Harris was not set up and ready for it. But yet 60 Minutes decided to do a little controlled interview. But hold on. There's also something else here, too. I want to play this video. This came out on the 22nd. April 22nd of 2025. And I think it's only fair that we do play it because that's a go in regards towards the lawsuit was baseless. Bill Owens wouldn't apologize. He wouldn't bend. He fought for the broadcast and for independent journalism, and it cost him his job. So let's go ahead and pull up this segment here. Let's go ahead and play this segment here.
He wouldn't apologize, meaning Bill. Bill Owens wouldn't bend. He fought for the broadcast and for independent journalism, and that cost him his job. It's shameful, unquote.
Now, to be clear here, okay, Bill Owens stepping down, okay? The resignation of Bill Owens. He was, again, he was the person, again, who began to feel like his entire media landscape, or at least how he was feeling, was just not correct. So, this is rather shocking, and it's rather depressing. So, it says a lot, because at one point, 60 Minutes was a trusted source of news. And the reason why the media isn't trusted is because you could thank the Telecoms Act in the 90s. Who was the president during that time? Democrat President Bill Clinton. Let's play the rest of this.
A second 60 Minutes source tells me, quote, Bill has widespread support at 60. He's dedicated his life to CBS and the broadcast. And this was his last act of dedication to it. It's like a guy who has been battling for months against an attack, unable to defend the broadcast from inappropriate corporate influence. He pulls the pin from his last grenade. He sacrificed himself, hoping it might make our corporate overlords wake up and realize they risk destroying what makes 60 Minutes great. It seems clear now, in a quest to sell the company, Sherry Redstone and others will bow to presidential pressure. 60 Minutes is one of the crown jewels of American broadcast journalism, and they have no problem crushing it in their race to make a deal and make themselves richer, unquote. Sherry Redstone had no comment when we reached out. President Trump, of course, has been trying to kneecap anyone providing oversight over his administration. He literally started his administration by firing a whole bunch of inspectors general. He is currently ignoring judges and courts. He and his MAGA forces intimidate the legislative branch from uttering even a peep of criticism. They're going after law firms. They're going after universities. And this war against the fourth estate, journalists, is of this piece. Owens is not without his critics, of course, but this is not about one man or even about one show. It's about an attempt to be rid of criticism. The Pentagon has taken the offices of CNN and NBC and the New York Times and Politico and reassigned them to outlets that provide more flattering coverage, like Breitbart. The White House is doing the same with wire services. It's war against the Associated Press, and bringing in folks like this one from last Friday.
Photos have emerged of Senator Van Hollen sipping what appears to be margaritas with Abrego Garcia down in El Salvador. Do you encourage other Democrats to fly down to El Salvador to meet with this illegal alien who's an accused wife beater?
I like this guy. See, now this is the kind of a reporter we like.
You gotta be careful of that. You gotta be careful of that. Oh, I like these questions. These are easy questions. I like these questions. Doesn't matter who's president. The whole idea of the job of a journalist is to ask the tough questions, to make those in power uncomfortable. You have to shine a spotlight on them. Otherwise, if you don't, you're doing nothing but propaganda.
There aren't enough of them.
That person, of course, that was asking that question was asking about a lie. Senator Chris Van Hollen says that those margaritas were never touched. They were set up on the table by somebody working for the president of El Salvador to make a joke of this senator's meeting. Those margarita glasses were propaganda, and that's what that person asked about. And of course, that's the kind of reporter that the president likes, because that question was not the question of a reporter. And that is the context of Sherry Redstone's likely bending of the knee. Hope the money's worth it, Sherry.
Well, CNN, you're one to talk, because CNN has also enacted in its fair share of bias reporting, lies, cover-ups, and all this other BS. Okay, I mean, this is the world we live in. Okay, so before anyone starts saying, "Oh, well done, Jake Tapper," well, no, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, ABC, CBS. I mean, everyone's guilty of it. All of them are guilty of it. Bias reporting, corruption, abuse of power, lies. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. But it is refreshing to see that the corporate overlords are being called out because it's all about controlling a narrative. There's an environment of fear that's starting to rise up, bubble to the surface. Nobody's safe. Everybody's on the chopping block. Everyone needs to keep their head on a swivel. It's not safe out there, folks. It's getting very, very, very dangerous. And the thing is, we said this was going to happen. Sooner or later, that corporate media was going to be reining in more and more on their quote unquote talent, the journalists, the commentators, the pundits, because it's all about business. It's all about keeping the people asleep. Don't wake up. Sleep, sleep, sleep. Just like that scene from They Live. Sleep. Everyone, grab your sunglasses, your shades. Do it now. See the world for what it is. It's all about having you be subservient. George Carlin's up there right now laughing at us all.